Hey, welcome to Outsmart Your Guitar. Glad you could join us. Today, in this episode of Rhythm Guitar, I'm going to discuss something that is very important in your rhythm guitar playing skills, and that is playing to the rhythm versus playing to the strum. What that actually means, I'm going to break it down and explain it and demonstrate. So let's just go. But wait, press that red button down there in the corner and you'll be subscribed to Outsmart Your Guitar. Ring the notification bell and you will be informed when new content is posted, which is around once a week or so. Down in the description, you'll see a link to patreon.com Outsmart Your Guitar. Go on over there, subscribe, and become a patron. In so doing, you'll unlock a lot of content that isn't featured here, and you'll also benefit by having expanded versions available to you of lessons that are featured here. And in becoming a patron, you will help support my efforts to continue providing you with high quality lesson material to help you learn, play, and grow to be the musician and guitar player you desire to be, to play the music you love. Sound good? All right, let's get to the lesson. All right, what do I mean playing to the rhythm versus playing to the strum? To play a rhythm part correctly, you have to understand the feel. And how you attain the feel is by understanding how you need to strum it, because the way you strum a song is going to directly affect the feel. All right? So the best way to do this is to demonstrate using examples that you may or may not be familiar with to help you understand there is a very deliberate and intentional approach that will help you attain the ability to play any rhythm part correctly, because you will understand the right approach. All right? So let's get to the first example. What I want to do here is start out really simple with explaining what I have come to call the steady state principle. The steady state principle is an approach that I've developed as a way to explain how to play rhythms well. Right? Rhythm guitar is 90% of our playing, so you need to know how to play it well. In the diagram, you'll see we have from top to bottom, we have the count, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We have the picking motion. The staple looking thing is a downstroke. The V is an upstroke. Then you have 8 notes in the staff, and below that, the chord. So, for example, as written, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so forth. All beat strokes are downstrokes. All and strokes are upstrokes. Very straightforward stuff. Most of your rhythms will be based on this down and up motion, where the downstroke in most cases is your beat stroke. The and of a beat will be an upstroke. There are variations on this, but they're all based on straight down up application. For example, if we were to play this as all downstrokes, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? You'll notice what my hand is doing, 1 and 2 and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Well, I'm only playing on the downstrokes. I'm ghosting, which is to move the hand in one direction, whether up or down, but not touch the strings. So you're ghosting, right? You're making the motion, but you're not hitting the strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, you're applying the steady state principle here. Straight up and down motions, okay? So that's the basis that we're going to be operating from. And I call it the steady state principle, all right? So think about this a little bit before you move forward. So pause the video and play this and just get your senses going here, both in the down, up motion, 1 and 2 and the 1 and 2 and, right? Get that clear in your head. You're setting up a straight motion. Bring in a metronome and have it click on the beat, right? So that you're learning to keep time. The beat strokes are the click on the metronome. So all your downstrokes would be at the same time as the click. Get yourself in sync with the metronome. This is another key element to getting good rhythms. All right? So, again, pause. Get comfortable with this idea. Then, when you're ready to move forward, press play. When you're ready to press forward, move play. There we go. What I'd like to discuss now is what I mentioned at the beginning, playing to the strum versus playing to the rhythm. And the problems with playing to the strum. I gave a song to a student, and this is the rhythm pattern of the song. Now, I outlined with the picking motion the way he actually came back a week later playing this rhythm. He was playing to the strum, what he thought should be done, and ignoring the steady state principle. So what he did was he went 1 and beginning with a down and an up stroke. 2 is a muted because that is a rest, and he did that with a downstroke, but then he came back up, and on the and of 2 he started with a downstroke, then 3 and resets down for 4 muting, then comes back for and of 4, then back for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and very awkward to play. It didn't flow, and he didn't have the feel because he was doing things that disrupt the flow and the feel from being possible. So let me now show you the steady state approach to this particular rhythm. All right, you'll see I've changed the picking pattern, and you'll also notice the red picking indicators. The red picking indicators are, in this case, muted notes. The second beat, the first half of the second beat, and the first half of the fourth beat, they are muted because they're rests. So that is a downstroke that is made but not played. Instead, you're using the side of your hand to mute the strings. So here's how it flows, and you're going to notice something very straightforward here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and so forth. You'll notice my hand was in constant motion and very steady, so that I didn't need to alter anything to get this rhythm to play and to flow. So 1 and mute on 2, upstroke on and because that's the next stroke that I'm making, 3 and mute 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? And the other cool thing is, because you're keeping this steady state, you can play it fast or slow because it's just this motion, constant, steady state. Now, pause the video and practice this for a moment or two. No kidding. Really do this. Sit down and work this out. You want this. All right? Then, when you're ready to keep going, press play. I know I'm starting out relatively easy, but bear with me. Whether you've been playing a little while or a long time, if your rhythm skills are suffering and they're just not where you want them to be, This is where you want to be. I'm breaking down an approach, the steady state principle that I developed as a way of explaining good rhythm keeping skills, how to be able to listen to a rhythm and understand it well enough to be able to figure it out. The steady state principle gives you that. Then you'll be able to play it because you understand how to break it down and put it together properly so that the steady state helps you get not just the flow, but the feel. All right? So let's keep going. Let's look at a blues shuffle. Blues shuffle, the shuffle itself, is tough to get right if you don't really understand the shuffle. And if you don't, you can go over to step by step part 3 and learn the shuffle feel. Whether you're playing single notes or rhythm parts, it doesn't matter. The feel and the way you approach it is still exactly the same. So, with that said, we're just going to move forward, assuming you understand the shuffle. You see in the diagram there, the metric modulation, the 2/8 equals the quarter and eighth note with a triplet bracket over the top of it, signifying shuffle or swing feel. Now, you'll notice all downstrokes. When you're playing a slow blues, the downstrokes make sense because you're not playing fast. So you can actually, set up playing slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so forth, right? Now, if you're playing really fast, you can do that, but you're going to wear out your strumming hand because it just doesn't make sense. You're still technically applying a steady state principle here, but you're going out beyond the realm of reasonable expectation when you're playing faster tempos. So let me show you the steady state approach. Yeah, it's really obvious, isn't it? But think about it. When you do it this way at a faster tempo, you're actually able to dig in better and get the flow and the feel more shuffly feeling. Right? Even at a faster tempo. It just makes more sense. And you won't wear your hand out. Remember, you're playing a song for 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes. Because if you've got multiple soloists, they're all going to want to take their 12 bars, right? And that makes the song a lot longer. And if you're doing all downstrokes, you're going to be wore out before you even get to the instrumental section. So here, it's a godsend. And that's the steady state approach. It works. The flow is better. The feel is better. You can dig in better. All of that stuff. And that's what you want. More authentic feel in situations like this, right? Okay, pause. Practice this for a few minutes. See how it feels. Put it to a metronome and really dig into it. And then press play when you're ready to keep moving. Let's change the pace a little bit and move into 3/4 time. Now, you'll notice in the diagram we have all downstrokes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so forth, right? Now you'll notice 1, ghosting and 1, not playing the strings, to set for 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. This ensures that the 1, 2, and the 3 will always be right where they're supposed to be because it's steady state. Another cool thing you can do is you can all play the root on the beginning of each measure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if you play a chord for longer than one measure, you can actually play alternating bass parts, playing the 1 and the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, Now, some people play this thinking, oh, I'm going to do this in a common sense way. They'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or they'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Well, it works if you're really good. However, you will have a tendency to wobble a bit because you're playing the strum so slow. Therefore, without the better application of all downstrokes, and the upstroke helps you to keep a more steady flow, you will be more likely to lose your place as far as not hitting it right on the beat when you need to. So what I want you to do is pause the video and go ahead and play through this using the steady state principle correctly. Put it to a metronome to get yourself dialed in. 3/4 time is not difficult. It's just one less beat than 4/4 time, but it still has its own peculiarities. All right, so do that and then press play when you're ready to continue. Staying in 3/4 time, let's add a little bit to the 3/4 time strum. So we're going to add some upstrokes. 1, 2, and 3, and 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 1. Now this may seem really obvious and pretty straightforward, and well, it pretty much is. Following the steady state principle, you will get the flow and the feel going really well. Now, another thing you can do is on the 1, call out the root of the chord. 1, 2, and 3, and 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 1. Right? Or if you're playing a chord more than one measure, alternate your bass. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1. So it's up to you how you want to do that. Now, some people might try to play it 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1 in that fashion, playing pretty much all downstrokes. And there's no big problem with that because you're moving like this, you're actually sort of using a steady state principle. But to get that flow and that feel, you can't do it with all downstrokes. Now, if you put this into a bit of a shuffle, then you absolutely need the steady state principle here. Because you will get the flow and the whole feel thing more accurately by following the standard steady state approach. So pause the video, practice this stuff, use the metronome to help dial in your timing. We all can use more help in getting our timing better. Remember, it's not the drummer's job to keep the band in time. It's every player's job. And so you need to work with a metronome so that the drummer isn't given that extra weight of being the person responsible for timekeeping. As I said, this belongs to everybody. Okay? So, again, practice, use the metronome, and when you're ready to keep going, press play. All right, there you have it. Some examples of how the steady state principle is key in helping you understand why playing to the rhythm is so much more important than playing to the strum. Playing to the rhythm gets you playing things more correctly and, timing-wise, more accurately. And so you not only get your accuracy improved and the rhythm improved, you get the feel improved as well. This is what's critical about this, all right? So that will do for this edition of Rhythm Guitar. The written material is available if you go over and subscribe on patreon.com, Outsmart Your Guitar. All right, so we'll see you next time.